Hello everyone, Pinder Productions here, and today I'm back with another F1 2016 career mode, and today we are going to the Mexican Grand Prix, and we have another sponsor bonus of R&D points, and we have an R&D event, so let's see what the mechanic has to say.
For you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
And so that is our new part. I also would like to say that I'm going to leave a poll link in the description so you can vote on which team you think I should use for the next game, really, and the career mode in that game. We can also make an upgrade, so I think I'll go for this engine upgrade here for the cylinder head. But anyway, like I said, go into the description and vote for next game's career team. I'll leave that in the description, like I said. Anyway, those are the resource points we have after the practice session. Skipping all of that, we don't get any for those. And here we are going to qualifying on the super soft compound tyres. So luckily we are back into a dry qualifying session here, and away we go for the start of our lap. It's a pretty good start. We are in first place off the start here. I mean, pretty close with the Mercedes in the straight line, but it looks like my teammate there in the rearview mirror. Now coming into the final sector, we are quite far ahead of the Mercedes behind. I believe that's Rosberg behind him. I cannot believe that we are still in first, but we are, and I do think that maybe I need to raise the difficulty level of the AI once again, because I am outpacing the Mercedes, which I really shouldn't be given the position of us in the performance index leveling. But we did beat and get P1 in qualifying, so that's where we will be starting in the race. We just went through our resource points after qualifying, and here is the rivalry status. So our Rosberg is still our rival, and our driver position is going to go up luckily now, and let's go to the race.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It's Force India in pole position then, with Nico Rosberg alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen and Perez.
And it looks like another wet race with the intermediate tyres, sadly, as you may have seen earlier. But it does look like it's going to get dry at the end of the race as we go to 5 lights, and it's away we go. We get a clean start. Rosberg and Hamilton get a very good start, although I kept ahead of Hamilton, luckily, out of the starting box. And it looks like the whole field has got a better start than me. I'm going to brake later than Rosberg and try to go around his outside, which I have done very well there. Is he going to try and fight back? Yes, he is. I'm going to leave him a little bit of space on the inside just in case, but I have made the move, and I'm now ahead of Rosberg, and I kept P1 in this race. So I do think the AI are a little bit too easy at the moment. Once again, I did put them up a setting from my original thing, so if I've gone up 2 or 3 levels from when I first started the game, that's going to be, I think, pretty good. I can't remember if I started on medium or hard at first, but whatever it was, I've gone up at least 1 difficulty setting. So, you know, if I've gone up 2, then I think that's going to be pretty good going into F1 2017. And here we are on the first corner of the second lap, and you can see Rosberg and Raikkonen battling it out here through the first couple of corners. You can see me there go off, and you can see Hamilton touches his teammate and has to go off, and then there you can see a bit more chaos occurring, and it looks like, are we going to have some kind of safety car because of that? I'm not sure, but it looks like there's a bit of a gap, and yes, virtual safety car there for us, so I'm going to have to go quite slowly here to keep up with my delta, or keep lower than my delta. So yeah, they do want me to drop the speed quite a bit, so I'm just going to sit here slowly for a while. It's ghosting me now, so I don't want to be going too slowly. And now coming into the stadium section, the virtual safety car is ending, so let's hopefully get a good start off the virtual safety car. And here we go, back up into standard, returning to racing speed up to rich mix as we come round the final corner and on to the main straight here in Mexico. And we have got a massive lead to the cars behind. Haven't set a fastest lap this time round though, We did set the fastest lap on the first lap because we were in first, but with virtual safety car. And it sounds like Sergio has had some issues with his car because he's gone into the pits as well. So interesting race in the first couple of laps. Not for me, but for other drivers it has been quite interesting so far. And now he skipped on to lap 15 where Rosberg has caught up to me. So Raikkonen has lost a few positions. Rosberg and Hamilton are in second and third. Not much happened really in between except the track drying up, so now I am struggling for grip more than the Mercedes. This is where in the last race Mercedes were able to get back ahead of me after I overtook them midway through the race. So let's see if I can defend against Rosberg this time round and hopefully not make any mistakes as we come on to the start of lap 16 here in Mexico. Just listening to my engineer there tell me the gap to my teammate, which doesn't really hold any relevance as Rosberg comes up my inside, but he's not quite close enough to make a move, and I'm going to give him a tiny bit of space, but I managed to be ahead of him, and he's going to continue fighting at me, keeping on my heels and up my gearbox there behind. You can see him in the left rear view mirror there just under my spoiler. He's definitely close, and you can see the proximity arrows as well getting more and more opaque, less and less transparent. Is that the same thing? I think so. Anyway, we're going to keep it in rich mix for now, I think. Lap 16, so we've only got a couple of laps to go, and I've got over 2 laps extra fuel, so that's probably weighing me down a bit. And I'm going to try and keep the speed through here. I'm going to put it down into standard through the S's. I'm going to try and keep on the track as best as I can. This is where I'm really struggling for grip through these corners, so hopefully I'll be able to keep ahead of Rosberg through here, but I am going a bit wide. Luckily I've kept it on and we are clean, but is Rosberg going to be able to gain on us in the braking zone here? I'm going to defend the inside line, and Rosberg is going to try and come at us, but he's not quite close enough, although he is gaining on us through this stadium section. This is where he was faster than us in qualifying, so it could be this area where he does make an overtake, but we will just have to wait and see what happens. We have 2 more laps to go. Lap 17 we are on now, the start of, on this main straight. No DRS obviously because it's too wet. The DRS is not enabled in this race, and Rosberg's going to have to go round the outside so I defend the inside line, and I'm braking way too early there, and that allows Rosberg to go round my outside, and he has up into P1, and behind me Hamilton it looks to be very close. I'm going to try and gain on Rosberg though through this straight. I'm going to get into his slipstream. I'm going to try and brake later than him into this corner. Can I go up the inside? Yes I can, just about. Is he going to try and come back at me, make a switchback sort of move? No, he's not, although there's another car behind Hamilton, I believe a Red Bull of some sort, getting very very close to this as well, so it looks like we are forming a train of cars here behind me. I'm holding them up, and I've gone deep into this corner, and that's going to allow Rosberg to gain on me a bit, but I've kept the position just luckily enough, and I'm really not doing very well through here, and I've gone wide, cutting the corner a little bit, but it's okay, and I haven't cut across into Rosberg's path, so that's allowed me to keep P1 just about a bit, well, not fairly. They are all just forming a train right behind me, lining up to capitalise if I make a mistake, or if they're just able to get enough slipstream on me. So I'm going to have to try and get a good exit out of the final corner and putting it up into rich mix obviously, and getting away from Rosberg here. You can see the proximity arrow disappears, and I am now ahead onto the final lap of this race. This is actually the only action that has occurred for me in the whole race, so we'll just have to see what happens as we brake for the first corner. Braking a bit early, just don't want to lock up and go off the track, and that allows Rosberg to catch up to us quite a substantial amount. I'm going to leave him a little bit of space, don't want to have any coming together or anything at this stage in the race. Just going to try and keep it clean and keep it on the track as we are now on the straight. Going to try and get ahead of Rosberg a bit on this straight, or with the same power unit. We are pretty matched, just got to get good exits out of corners just before straights, and we are now into a sort of semi-stadium section. Not really the stadium section that I really like that stadium section in this track towards the end of the lap. Now we come into the S section in sector 2, and this is where I am struggling sort of see how Rosberg can do in relation to me, and he is really close behind, and I've gone wide. No, I'm going to have to go onto the runoff area and allow Rosberg through, and I'm allowed to get back ahead of Lewis Hamilton, luckily, and it's going to be close. I'm going to keep the outside racing line going wide, and that's going to allow Hamilton to gain, but he's not quite close enough to overtake, and I'm going to keep to the racing line, and now there's the Red Bull is so close as well. Rosberg is looking like he's going to take the win. Am I going to be able to defend second place to Hamilton and the Red Bull? It looks like I am. It's just a short squirt to the line, and it's second place for me, so luckily I get another podium.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table.
So you can see there, Ricciardo was the Red Bull who was catching up. Jenson Button gets 5th place, Vettel and Raikkonen 6th and 7th, Massa 8th, Alonso 10th, and Bottas, Alonso 9th, Bottas 10th even. And they're calling Jenson Button the driver of the day, quite deservedly getting the McLaren Honda up into 5th, and my teammate is quite far down the field there, as you saw. It's all to play for in the Drivers' Championship at the top. Not too many points behind Rosberg, who is now leading the Drivers' Championship, so it's going to be a close battle between him and Hamilton going into the final 2 races of this season, Brazil and then Abu Dhabi. So 2 more weeks of this to go before F1 2017, which is crazy to think that we're almost at the end of this game's life cycle. But anyway, let's have a look at our resource points before we end off this episode. I don't think we're going to be having enough to do any upgrades that I am planning on doing. I don't really think we need to do a fuel upgrade, as we had so much during this race, although it was a wet race, and we have had a lot of wet races, so I'm hoping Brazil is a dry race, because they are usually having more action in them. +1 for each of these, which is very good to see, nice to see compared to the -1s we've been having recently. The career score is going up, obviously, and that is the end of the episode. Please remember to go and vote in the poll. I will leave the link to that in the description. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give the video a like, comment below what you thought, subscribe to the channel if you are new and want to see more F1 content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.